So it's 6:17 right now, and I'm about to start getting some work done. Just got back from the gym, but I wanted to share this thought that I've been having just this morning about what is time, and just want to flesh out a concept I've been thinking about, which is work-life focus. And I think for the longest time, when I would look at things like work-life balance, I always felt like I needed to have everything in order. But then I read this book by Tim Grover. He has a book called Relentless and another book called Winning. And in both books, he has this concept of work life balance isn't something that you're chasing, right? And I've heard other people talk about this type of concept in a podcast as well. But it's something that I want to start coining as work life focus or work life intention. And what I mean by that is so much of our time, I think, is robbed from us, whether it's by our devices or our distractions or whatever it is. And rather than being fully invested in the moment, we allow our gaze, our perception, our focus to go somewhere else. And so we're not devoted to the task that we're supposed to be doing. And so when you think about work life focus, the way I've been seeing it lately is what person, place, or thing needs my immediate attention right now based on everything else that is going on, right? So if I'm editing something for a client, right, for example, and I have 5 videos to edit, which video needs to be done first for the client? Also, which clients have paid or which clients are being processed and all that kind of stuff. Everything is judged on a certain type of basis. And so when I look at my life, that's a concept I try to bring into it as well, which means when I am having family time, should I be on my phone? Is that the thing that needs my immediate attention at that point or place in time? If it doesn't, then I need to put my phone away and play with the kids, be with my wife, have a conversation with them, engage, because that's my duty. That's my job right now, right? Or maybe my job is my wife recently has been buying workout stuff and just some things for around the house. And so maybe my immediate attention is I need to build these things so we can throw away the boxes and so we can get rid of things and we need to declutter, right? Your focus is what matters the most because of the time that you're given on a given day, right? So we all have 24 hours, but the way that we use those 24 hours may be different for each one of us. And that's what I've also been thinking is, as a business owner, as a husband, as a parent, as a friend, as all these things that I am, like what needs my immediate attention? Most recently, I've been even thinking about like working out. Do I need to be working out as much as I do in the mornings, or can that time be devoted to something else? And so right now I'm just like, let's keep this momentum up until I turn 40. And then at 40, I'm going to see, hey, what does my body really need? Do I need to continue to work out the same way that I've been doing it? Or can I sleep a little bit more, lift a little bit less, but when I'm lifting, devoted to this type of training versus that type of training, for example, right? Because if I can, rather than being at the gym for an hour and a half or 2 hours, if I can cut that down to an hour, well, then that gives me an hour to devote to finishing up work, maybe even creating content for myself or doing things that I need to do that are more important right now than my physical fitness. Not saying physical fitness isn't important, but I think there's ways that I can get to where I want to go without doing as much as I'm doing. I've been listening to a lot of Dorian Yates lately, and that's some of the training he's talked about as well. Mike Metzer's another one. So that's one part of it. Again, the other part of it is, for example, if somebody gave you $1 million and said, I'm going to give you $1 million every day for a year, but you need to make sure that at the end of the day, that account is at zero every single time. And you got to do the same thing tomorrow, right? So every single day, you're having to become smarter and smarter on how you're going to spend that $1 million. So maybe the first day you're like, oh, let me buy a car, a house, or this or that, right? But then you begin to see, well, I've bought all the things I need to buy. It's 6 months into the year. I don't need more stuff. How else can I use this $1 million? And maybe you become more like a philanthropist and you give your money away, you donate more, or whatever it is, right? That's the same way that you should be seeing your 24 hours. Your 24 hours are like if somebody deposited $1 million into your bank account and said, you need to run this dry by the end of the day. are you doing that with what you are given, right? If you're a parent, are you devoting your time to your kids, your spouse, your health, maybe your knowledge, your wisdom? Are you doing these things, or are you maybe on your phone, more concerned about other things, letting your focus being taken away from you, right? If you are an employee, right? I used to work as a barista, but or even now as my business. Like, what is most important for me at this time for my business? Is it to be focused on editing? Is it focused on client acquisition? Is it focused on, building the brand and building the business? Like, is the most important thing? And let me do that thing because that's what needs to be done primarily. And so as you begin to see your life this way, you overall want to evaluate the day. That's what I used to do. But then it goes into evaluating the week, the month, the year, the decade, right? Because you want to say, okay, next 24 hours, this is what needs to get done. In the next 72 hours, this is what needs to get done. In the next week, this is what needs to get done. And the next month. So then when you're starting to project like years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, you look at that mountain, but you also have a path laid out for you on how to get there, but you cannot get there if you are not focusing on the thing that needs to be focused on, which is what is the task in front of me. Yes, the overall goal is to climb the mountain, but what is the task that I need to take care of right now that is going to get me there? And so that is, again, where my brain is at right now. And it's kind of giving me this fervor of just like, okay, let me go back, because I haven't, again, from traveling, being with family and everything we've been doing the last few months, like it's been hard to do that, because we've been going to bed like at 12 o'clock every night, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Now we're getting back to our regular schedule. So I want to get back to regular habits that allowed me to get to the point where I'm at today. And one of the biggest ones was evaluating the day, looking at the week, looking at the year and 5 years and saying, okay, are we on our path? Where is the place we're seeing blockage? Where are we seeing more of an opening? And is that opening something that's going to help us in our way? As a business owner, we're thinking about hiring more people, getting more things done, even shifting some of our concepts and things that we're doing to start targeting different and larger clients. And so again, when you do that, you need to say, okay, what does that larger client look like? Do you have a picture or an idea of what that client looks like? Because if you don't, well, then you don't know what you're chasing, right? But when you know what clientele you're chasing and you know what kind of business you want to be in, you know, kind of thing you want to do, then that's going to allow you to have a better idea of what you're aiming for. And so again, doing this every single day as a habit of saying, okay, what does a day look like? Let me tackle these things on. Practicing this work-life focus has been something I've been doing for years. I think now, again, getting out of my 30s and getting into my 40s, if this is your first time here, trying to document the last 40 days of turning 40. So this is one of them. What I'm trying to do is say, okay, my 30s, what were the habits that I started developing that allowed me to get where I am today, right? I went from being a drug addicted teenager, going nowhere in life, doing nothing in life, to in my 20s finally started figuring out like I was good at being a barista, I was good at coffee. And then in my 30s, moving away from home, coming to Austin, Texas, going from a coffee roaster to a videographer in just 5 years. And so it's like, okay, that happened. And what were the habits that I was practicing and that I was doing that got me there? Because those were habits that I learned at the time and was practicing and walking in. I think now these are habits that I know that I've tucked away into my tool belt. And it's like, okay, you can do this, you can have muscle activated as soon as possible. So what are those muscles? What are those things? Evaluating your day, evaluating your week, evaluating your overall goals, work-life focus, paying attention to the task that is in front of you. Those two things this morning have kind of this ongoing rhythm of like, get back to this, write this down, focus on this. And if you're somebody who struggles with that, I would really just go down to like getting a calendar and doing time blocking, because that is something that in the beginning I used as like a crutch to help me figure that out. And now I try to do it when I'm like meditating or when I'm in the sauna, or as a parent, you don't really have much time, but when you have 5 or 10 minutes, like learning how to do that in the fastest way possible with the least amount of time, but with the most amount of focus. I got to get to this work, talk about work life focus. I gave myself 10 minutes to do this, and I'm about to hit that 10-minute mark. So I'll see y'all in the next few minutes.